Hey guys, this is JOE LAF and you are listening to Foxx on a Wire.
You're listening to Foxx on the Wire podcast.
All right, welcome everybody to episode number 78 of Foxx on the Wire. We have a returning guest today. You may remember him from, I think it was episode number 30 back in March of 2020. My, how things have changed a little bit since then. Welcoming back to the show, Mr. JOE LAF. Welcome,
Hello.
Joe.
How are you?
All right, man. It's been a couple of years, couple of rough years.
It has been. I think the last time we spoke, we were mid-lockdown, weren't we?
Yes. Yeah, March 2020.
Or just getting, I can't remember now. I've lost track of the last couple of years.
It is a bit like that. I think at that stage, we were expecting to, any day now we'll come out of this and get back to normal. But little did we know it was just getting started, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, we won't talk about that sort of stuff.
Cool.
Good news on your end. You got a new single coming out on January 27th, Reading Lines. Now, you've said in your social media post this is a bit different to anything that you've done before. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I kind of last year I pretty much didn't release anything last year at all, and I did a couple of original gigs, for the sort of playing the stuff I'd been releasing, and it was great. And I was just like, it doesn't feel like me, and I think I've always sort of come a bit more from a sort of rock background, but I wasn't really doing that. I was kind of writing all different styles and experimenting with different stuff. And so I took, I was writing last year, but everything I was kind of writing, I just like, I don't know about this. So, so I just went, I decided, I'm like, I just got to be me and just, do what I want and don't think about it so much. And and that's where Reading Lines sort of came out of.
Yeah, cool. Well, I was privy enough to have a bit of a sneak peek. Thank you very much. I won't give too much away. But look, I could definitely hear you still in there for sure, and I think whatever you're going to put out there, like, you are still in it, unless you just totally, I don't know, just use computers and none of your own talent in there or something like that.
Yeah.
I can definitely hear you in it. So I'm very excited for you to release this because I really enjoyed this track, and, I can say that because, like, I appreciate the need to do something a bit different, maybe something you've been thinking about doing, but not too scared necessarily, but it's hard to steer.
You know what? Scared it was actually a good word for it. It was kind of that. Oh, I don't know if I could pull this off, and I don't know if I got the voice for it. It was one of those things that was always in the back of my mind, and I just kind of went, I just got to do it.
Oh, mate, you nailed it. You definitely have the voice for it.
Thank you.
Everything you've put in that track is really good, and I don't want to give too much away, but I think people are going to really enjoy it. I did, and I can say that because lately I've been listening to pretty much nothing but heavy stuff, and that's not what this is. But I can definitely appreciate it, and I still like all styles of music. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for people to hear it, and I'm sure you are too, and I'm sure you're just eager to drop it and get it out there.
I am. I'm very.
So, it'll be available on all streaming platforms. Are you just releasing digitally, or are you printing CDs?
No, I'm just going to do the digital thing for now. So, as I said, this is kind of, I want to keep going in this direction, maybe get heavier, because I've been sort of listening to a lot more heavier stuff. So that's kind of sneaking in there, and I'm just, so...
Yeah, you might agree with this, like, even though you're listening to a certain style, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to write in that style.
Exactly.
Yeah. But, those influences might creep in there unbeknowingstly, whatever the word is. So are you doing a music video for this for this song?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I did sort of contact the girls who usually do my music videos in the past, and they're all excited about it. They've all heard the song, and they're just, got so many ideas in their head already. Just like, we got to do this and we got to do that. I'm just like, yep, cool, let's do it. So
that's good. Well, is it going to be part of like, an EP or a bigger album, or are you just sort of more singles at this stage?
I think this was the first one of, to tell you the truth, I almost wanted to do this as a separate project with a different name or a band name, and in the end decided, because it was just so different to what I've done in the past. And I kind of went against that in the end. I just went, you know what, I'm just going to release it, on my usual Spotify and do that whole thing. But it was, I think it's just a direction I just want to just keep going in, and I'd love to do an EP or an album. I guess, I'm a bit impatient. I finished something, and this song was written and recorded in 3 days, and I just kind of I'm like, I got to get it out there. I can't wait for another 4 songs to be written before I release it. I'm just
I think we're pretty free to do anything we want these days, really.
Yeah,
in terms
definitely.
Which is it's really a blessing. I think we're not really beholden to any sort of structure of release or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I think we might have been sort of talking about this on our last chat. The releasing singles thing, and I think we've both sort of done that over the last couple of years. Just sort of released a slew of singles, and I think you've released quite a few in the last couple of years since we spoke last.
Yeah, well, there was again, I hate to mention the whole lockdown thing, but that was pretty much, probably the most productive couple of years of my life, because I just really I built up my studio, tried to learn everything about production, obviously because we had to do it all ourselves. I bought a drum kit. I bought,
cool.
Bought an analog desk. I just went, I got to keep I didn't want to sit around and watch Netflix and drink alcohol for 2 years. So, I kind of just dove deep into it. And then last year, I was gigging so much, as I said, I just didn't really, I wrote a few things that no one will ever hear. And I just, I kind of just put it all on the back burner. I did a couple of gigs playing it, and so it was just, but definitely in those couple of years, I was just trying to pump out as many songs as I could. So,
such a blessing as a muso that you can just sort of get, some gear, whether it might be just a 4-track machine or something, lock yourself in a room and go crazy and just create instead of just rotting away on the couch sort of thing. It's just such a blessing.
That's I love it. That's my favorite part of it. Just doing the production, just being in there, experimenting with different things, and probably my older songs. I wrote them, sitting on this couch right here with an acoustic guitar, and strummed out some chords, wrote some lyrics, wrote the melody, and that's how. And then got to production, where this time around, I just literally sat down at the kit, hit record, started with the beat, grabbed that, then grabbed the bass, started playing the bass line, and just kind of built it from the music up. So, so it was a bit of a different process for me, but it was kind of good to hear the production first. Kind of just gave me so many more ideas of like where the lyrics could go and where the melody could go.
Because I think when you sit down with an acoustic guitar, it's hard to mix up the songwriting process, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's, I guess when bands, they sort of, that sort of old school thing of, bands getting in a room and just jamming till they come up with something. I kind of did that by myself. So I kind of wanted to kind of get from that process of making it feel like a band, and
So did you record all this at home and everything by yourself? Is this all you, basically?
Yeah, everything by myself. So
awesome.
I think at one point I got up at about 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning with some ideas in my head and just went, went and turned on. I live alone, so I can do that.
Wow.
Just turned on the studio and just started banging stuff out.
So what sort of I sort of noticed on your social media you've got a few maybe new guitars, like the Gretsch 12 string. Is that a new one?
Yeah. It was just, I always wanted a 12 string. I've always wanted a Rickenbacker, but I could never afford one.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I've always been a big Beatles fan. Tom Petty, the Byrds. I just always loved that 60s, sort of sound that and that 60s California sound, I guess you'd call it. And I just I found it in the store and just grabbed it. It just felt great, played great. I'm yet to use it on any recordings, but I'll definitely sneak it in there at some point.
Yeah, it looked like a absolute beauty. I guess the Rickenbacker would be the ultimate of that sort of sound in that era, but I don't know, the Gretsch probably wouldn't be far behind, I wouldn't think.
The Gretsch does it really well.
Yeah.
Like, it actually does that sound really well, and it's kind of, I was going to change the pickups in it, but I haven't done that yet. It's just working for me. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And is that the only recent one that you brought lately, or you've been buying a few?
No, I've been using a Reverence a lot lately, and I actually used it on a lot of this new song, which it's kind of like it's like a Tally and a Strat hybrid. So it's kind of got the best of both. It's like a Tally shape, with 3 pickups. It's got a Tally pickup in the bridge, which is a bit sort of P9-ish actually. And then it's got, I kind of use that on most of this song. So, yeah.
Bit of, I don't want to give away too much, but a bit of whammy bar action.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
Tastefully, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love a guitar with a whammy bar. That's why I bought this guitar. I love my Tallies, but I always wanted a Tally with a trem arm. And then when I saw this thing, I was like, okay, I got to have it.
And it holds its tune?
It is amazing. It really, you can do dive bombs on the thing and it just slings back straight into tune, so it's fine.
I've been trying to work on those dime bag dive bombs and the squeals and stuff. Man, that's some crazy. I've only got one guitar with a bar, but it's been interesting trying to work on that. So not usually my style, but if you do it properly, it sounds pretty cool. So
it really does. Yeah.
What amps are you sort of using at the moment?
I'm pretty much using it for live. I'm using a Kemper, which has got a power amp in it, so it's running into a guitar cabinet as normal. So it's still got that amp on stage feel, and yeah. So I have gone down the digital end of amps, and they're so good now. They it's come so far. It just you really can't tell the difference.
Yeah, I reckon. Do you reckon a lot of bands and artists use that sort of stuff as opposed to
the more and more I'm noticing they are. I mean, especially the touring guys. Especially now with touring budgets are probably lower than they've ever been. A lot of guys are just walking onto a plane, with a digital modeler in their gig bag, and away they go.
Yeah.
So
easier than lugging around a couple of cabinets, I guess, in the head. And
I mean, look, ideally, it's always great to have an amp on stage, and but if it can't be done, these things they're great. As long as you got the good monitor guy, so you can hear it properly.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah.
What program are you using in the studio, like Reaper or Logic?
No, I'm using Pro Tools.
Oh, Pro Tools, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I've always kind of used. I started off years and years ago on Cubase, and then ended up moving to Pro Tools, and I've kind of always loved it.
Yeah,
always just found it. Kind of got used to it. Loved the whole interface of it, and So now I'm kind of just as I said, I kind of been using a little SSL desk. So I've got a hybrid kind of setup. So I'm recording everything in analog and mixing it back out and summing it in analog and that's made a huge difference. Yeah.
Cool. And what about mixing and stuff? Did you send this off to someone else to get mixed and mastered?
No, I did it all myself as well.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Man. Yeah.
So I've tried to be completely, as I said, the last couple of years, just had to be completely self-contained, and just I really wanted it. Obviously, I could send stuff off to be mixed and mastered, but I just really wanted to learn how to do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I mean, I'm not quite there, probably. I mean, you never stop learning. Things always kind of get better, but I've just been, I just really enjoy the process of it. So
You must be a patient man. I don't think I'd have the patience for mixing at the very least.
I just, as I said, I really love it. I really just, I love experimenting with different things and just trying. I'm running some outboard effects now as well, and just experimenting with doing that whole thing. And yeah, I love the process.
Cool. So what's are you having a launch for this single release or anything like that?
No, I'm just kind of, this is, as I said, because it's, I guess, the first one in this sort of style. I kind of just wanted to, as I said, I'm impatient. I wanted to get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do this one, and then I'll probably try to get started again next week, working on a new one, and hopefully it'll be another quick turnaround.
Well, it's a great sounding track, man, and I'm very happy for you, and I hope people dig it. I'm sure they will. And,
me too. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and look forward to hearing what else you're going to bring out this year. So, are you still are you gigging your acoustic stuff and still doing all that?
Yeah, pretty much doing that full time. I mean, I've got 7 gigs this week.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a pretty it's pretty. I mean, last year was stupidly busy. It was the busiest year I ever had gigging wise. This year's starting to look like it's going to be the same. But yeah, as I said, my days off, I really just want to focus on just pumping out some more music. And just I think last year I was gigging so much on my days off. I'd just be like, oh god, I don't want to look at a guitar. just keep it in the cases and just so
give the fingers a rest.
Yeah. So, but I think this year I really just want to put more into it, and try to just release as much stuff as I can, and maybe do some gigs with it when I've got enough songs. As I said, it's a bit too different to do a gig with this stuff and then my older music. I think this will have to be just a completely new project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome. So I know we've had you on the show before, but for those new listeners that might be tuning in, can you tell us who you've sort of played with over the years? Played guitar with, because you've played with quite a lot of people over the years.
I kind of went through a bit of a stage. I was doing a lot of stuff with Reese Maston and Jason Singh and Mark Abel and Dale Ryder, and just, I mean, there's other ones that, just one-off gigs that I was doing. I do have a Dale Ryder gig coming up, at the end of February, I think. So I'm still doing a little bit of that stuff, but not too much these days.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was kind of before I started releasing my stuff as well, and that was a big inspiration for me, just to kind of do that, sort of working with such great songwriters, and and I was just kind of on stage, just watching the crowds, and I was like, this is great, I'm gonna just it was inspirational.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
so time to do your own thing now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Now you said you're a fan of the 60s sort of music, so were you a fan of Jeff Beck, who we lost recently?
To tell you the truth, Jeff Beck was one of those artists I just never really kind of discovered. I like the Yardbirds and stuff like that, but it was kind of just I knew a bit of his stuff, but not enough to really, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of the same. He's up there in terms of amazing guitar players, but I think I had one album. I never got around to really, something didn't grab me about his playing, and that's not, nothing against his playing, but I think for some reason I don't know, I'm trying to think back to when I was growing up. I went down the Jimmy Page road rather than, not that that's probably a silly thing to say, but it's true. Like I went down the Led Zeppelin road, and but yeah, just losing another another massive player like that is just it sort of makes you look at them a bit after they've gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
And I think, it's funny people do that. And I mean, I do the same thing. I'll probably discover more of his music now,
yep.
that he's gone. And, yeah. But I think, growing up, I was always, I was kind of raised on the Beatles and Elvis and the Beach Boys and Rolling Stones and, then gotten into, Zeppelin and, but I love everything, I really do. I mean, people like Brian Setzer and Steve Lukather have always been a massive influence on me as a guitar player. In the last few years, I've been listening to a lot of Butch Walker. That's been a massive influence on me. It's funny. My mind goes from one style to another. It really does. I can have a Spotify playlist with, anything from Elvis to Korn, really. It's just, I really do just love all music.
Yeah. And that's one good thing about Spotify is you can easily bounce between either of those, in the palm of your hand, I guess, instead of carrying around a whole case full of CDs in your car or something.
Well, I've still got my whole sort of CD collection just, it's like in a file cabinet and it's just hundreds and hundreds of them. So, yeah. But I don't have a CD player anywhere in the house anymore. I don't think so.
You got one in your car still?
Yeah. But even so, I never use it. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
all right. So tell us about JOE LAF when he hasn't got a guitar in his hands, which doesn't sound like very often, to be honest. But what do you like to do? Do you like to read, movies, play golf?
Yeah, I guess on my days off, I just, obviously do a bit of writing and, but just still music. But, I love watching movies. I love watching different series. I'm always watching alien documentaries and UFO documentaries. I do love,
It's fascinating.
I'm a bit of a nerd and, I just love watching stuff like that. I do try to go out and have a social life, which is kind of difficult because, my days off are, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. So usually it's me just jumping in an Uber and going somewhere by myself and just making friends along the way. So,
yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah,
the alien stuff is fascinating. It's I won't claim to know too much, but I guess I find it hard to find not legitimate documentaries, but ones that are you know what I mean, like based in some bit of truth and good evidence and that sort of thing. But it's just fascinating anyway. I find it really interesting.
I'll watch them all. I'll just go at a complete, I fall down a complete rabbit hole with them. I'll watch one and then the next suggested one, I'll watch that one. And then next thing I know, 4 hours have passed and I'm just been sitting there watching. Yeah.
I might have to get a few suggestions off you.
I got plenty. I'll just go through my YouTube history.
Yeah.
I'll all be there.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming back on, Joe. It's good to chat with you again.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Would like to do an in person with you one day, but
yes,
we'll I know we all lead busy lives, so it's hard. But at least we can do this. So
yeah.
All right. So I've got the new single out January 27th. Reading Lines, available on all streaming platforms. Tell us where people can find you, Joe. Best place to find you.
Probably my Instagram page, which is JOE LAF Music. I do have a Facebook page as well. Same thing. Don't really use that one as well, but probably the Instagram page is the place where I do most of my promoting and sharing all the content. But but as I said, it's on all the platforms. It'll be on absolutely everything. So
January 27th. Are you a TikToker?
I do have a TikTok. I have sort of posted a few videos, some original stuff, some little cover videos. I don't use it too much, but there was a point I was like, okay, I got to try to force myself to use this, and so I will try a bit more in the future.
Yeah, it seems to get decent reach, whether that turns into, song streams for us or anything like that. I don't know.
Yeah, or my songs will be on, they're on TikTok as well. So when you search in the little music thing, you can find them. And sort of when I upload the songs, I kind of just ticked every box, so they're everywhere.
Yep, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. Good to chat with you, and
Mate,
best of luck with the new single. Congratulations! It's a great tune.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sure you're going to get a great reception. Everybody go check it out. Go follow Joe on the Instagram and all that sort of stuff. I'll put some links in the show notes. And all the best. Hopefully catch up with you soon, somewhere along the line.
Thank you so much for having me, mate. It's great to talk to you again.
You too. Thanks, Joe.
That's all right.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Catch you again soon for another episode of Foxx on the Wire.